After hours, I've been working on my own personal truck. 2006 Dodge 2500. It has a new engine from industrial injection. Started off as a short bed. We had a wrecked bed out back, so essentially I took it, grafted in the wheel wells, and fixed the damage on the bed. I had to convert my truck to a long bed in the process of that, so I can actually fit this big service body on it. Right now we're getting it ready for paint, finishing up some metal work, finishing up the back bumper, and getting it all sanded down, and it's gonna head over to the paint shop. Our friend Todd's gonna end up shooting this thing back to the original red and paint matching the bed, and just making a good daily driver slash work truck out of the thing.
Hold on, do you have any nicknames?
Cherry Poppins.
Cherry.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We finally got Aaron's truck back from paint. We've been working on this thing for about a month now. He's fully rebuilt the bed, fully rebuilt the axle, fully rebuilt a lot of stuff on this, and it's got a show quality paint job now, and I can't wait to reveal that to you. Before we get started on that, I got one message from Base and Upfitting. We've received a lot of comments and a lot of requests for merch, so here it is, guys. I wanted our merch to mean something. I believe that we need more skilled workers out there, and if we're gonna be bringing jobs back to the United States, we're going to need a young, invigorated workforce to take on those jobs. And we're doing what we can. We're donating 20% of the profit on our merch sales to a local trade school. So we're doing our part to get people out there into the trades, get people excited. And not only that, but this stuff is awesome. The number one thing that I do love about our merch is they look cool and they're good quality, kind of like our trucks. If you want to go grab yourself one, I got a link in the description below. Remember, it goes to a good cause. We're going to get on with the show. Go like and subscribe. Go grab your merch. And remember, buy merch, protect the trades. Flashback. I was just about to leave for the day. I walked into the shop and Aaron's got his personal project pulled into the bay. He's about to send it off to paint. He's got a lot of final touches to do before he does that. Maybe 3 or 4 hours of work fixing the fender and whatnot. Well, I just walked in and I saw him working on his 06 Dodge, and I was just like, man, we need to get more footage of this. So we're gonna stay after. We're gonna film it for you guys. Aaron's got to get this thing ready for paint. TJ's gonna be taking the rocker panels all the way down to bare metal, and Aaron's gonna be finishing up refabricating this front fender. He's already been working on this thing for a little over a month now, and these are the final touches that he needs to do to get this thing ready to send it over to Todd's house for paint and body work. Classic Aaron though, he's left himself honestly no time. We're here after hours, and I've challenged him to get this thing done in less than 30 minutes. He said he could do it in 25. Let's see who's right.
Opened up, the front bumper's been cut and then capped also, and cut the fender back, so then I'll have to re-weld that up and just put essentially a filler that goes up in there. I'll have to fit all this and then weld it in, blend it, get it all sanded out. It's kind of haggard. It's like right now, since the support's out, see how the fender can just move, and then it's out a little bit farther at the bottom anyway, so what I need to do is I'm just going to adjust this in and down. Hopefully it pulls that body line down. It's better just to have this in place where exactly where it's got to go, and then you put this in, and then the structure's back. Before you start welding, you gotta weld it to the little support bracket. Then you can put weld on it and not have to worry about it moving as much. Because right now it's just, there's nothing there. Because the support is back here and it's not attached now because originally it was attached to the lip. Now the lip's gone. So the best thing to do is adjust it in place to where it's relaxed. And then put this in and just tack it. And then tack the support in so nothing moves, and you can start putting some heat on it without having to worry about it getting all crazy. Yeah, I gotta adjust that real quick first. Still a little high. I just honestly don't know how, because I look like I'm low up here. Oh, you know what else I can do? If I slightly pull this out, I can get some distance down actually. If I weld that piece in, that line's stuck. There won't be nothing you can do. That might help me get a little more distance down. Yeah, it's actually a lot better. I just have to live there. So I have to live there. It's really not bad at all. So sheet metal roll.
What?
sheet metal roll. It's our slip roll. We don't have a slip roll.
So you have your hands instead?
Yeah. Gotta get a grinder.
What he's gonna do here with his hands, most guys couldn't do with a modern,
geez.
modern shop.
We need a slip roll. This is terrible.
Yeah, he doesn't need all the fancy tools.
I'm just gonna tack it and walk it in.
Like
I'm gonna do it like that.
Tack, push it in, tack, push it in.
I'm gonna do it like Bad Chad, bro.
All right, you're gonna see it right here. Where are you gonna ground to?
Inside the fender wall. It's probably not a good idea. I'm actually gonna grab right there.
After hours with Aaron. I like it.
My welding hood?
You need a welding hood right now? Wanna go get yours?
There's one right behind you.
What? Yeah, it's already got like 4,000 views. People want to see more on this.
It's not that exciting. You
I
gotta
know, dude, but I think
Todd.
people really like the 06.
Oh no, it's a really desirable truck.
It's basically a classic at this point, isn't it?
is.
It's 20 years old. It's 5 years shy of a classic car. That's hard to believe, actually.
I'm really fucking Bad Chad in it right now. Look. That'll work.
What are you doing?
Whoa, whoa.
Why does it do that on your ground?
Because it's not grounding good. Needs more better metal.
Steven gave me Sudafed today and made me real drowsy.
I was trying to help him. Let me get this.
I can breathe though.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Hey Chad, whoa. Hey,
Yeah?
explain your technique a little bit there.
Oh, don't look at that. That's rough. Well, since there's no support on the fender right now, I just have a plate just tacked on it to hold it while I work this wheel well lift into place, essentially just keeping the body gap where it was. And then that way when I'm working this wheel well lift into place, it doesn't move the fender around. So that way it'll just stay right there. And actually it looks like it came up. And I gotta cut that and move it, because it's up now. That is ugly.
Yeah, but it's not gonna look like that when you're
No, it will look all finished when it's done, but
Not done yet. That's about what I would do.
there are a lot better ways to do this stuff.
You know what they say?
What?
There's a lot better ways to do this kind of stuff.
There is. Pliers.
these ones?
Yep.
On fire.
Oh, I got a couple shitty spots, but we'll fill that all up. That looks rough. You see the little porosity, little finger sticking out there?
Yeah.
Let me pow. Little Dodge E-coat. Now we got that done. Now I'm gonna grab a grinding wheel and I'm gonna finish that. And then I have to put one little filler piece in. I might make a little slit here and then feather it in so it looks like it just flows right into it. Yeah. Porosity. The letter of today is P for porosity. Shit's
How many dollars per hour are you?
50 cents and about my cousin for per diem.
What are we, almost 15 minutes in, so we're like 14:44. I think that's backwards for you guys. I don't think he's gonna make it in 30 minutes, but he is cruising right now. Cruising so fast.
Fender?
Huh?
The Fender in 30 minutes?
Yeah, the Fender in 30 minutes. 12 minutes left. Let's see where he's at.
I gotta turn the tires real quick.
What?
I gotta turn the tires.
He's got to make sure he clears. A lot more room now, Seabass.
I know. That's why I did it.
Oh yeah. Don't tell Aaron his own business. Lesson 1. I would say Aaron's, fantastic at fabricating. I'm not going to talk any crap on that. But one thing that we've been noticing just throughout time is that he's a very poor judge of how long things are going to take. So if he says 30 minutes, it's closer to 45. If he says it's going to be done in 2 weeks, it's closer to a month. I mean, if you're going to point out anybody's flaws, which I'm not here to do that, but I'm guessing that it's going to take him 43 minutes to finish this. If you had to do this task, how long do you think it'd take you? Or how long do you think it'd actually take Aaron to do this?
All right, that's done enough. I can tweak on it and
Huh?
I'm done.
Oh, you done? You're not going to touch it again?
No,
These are rules, man. You can't
I'm done.
break the rules.
Done.
42 minutes.
Well, I mean, when it goes to the body shop, it just gets a little itty bitty swipe of fiberglass and that's it.
Wow, that actually looks.
All right, let's check it out.
A little mark right there from the filler plate that went on there, but yep. Yeah, let's get a little swipe fiberglass right there and the rest is done.
I'm actually way impressed. We were timing and everything, but I would fully expect that to take a couple hours for somebody to do.
That's good enough. I mean, the fender liner gets all tucked up in there and anyways, and yeah, I mean, we're just do a tiny little bit of body work and then it's good for paint.
The next day.
So we're over at my buddy Todd's house, still getting the rest of the truck ready for paint, as you can tell. We have the bed off right now, so I figure I'd show you the frame extension. So basically this started off as a short bed, Dodge 2500. That bed came off of a newer Ford, and it's for a 9-foot bed. So what I ended up doing was just basically a cut and frame sleeve. These are pretty common with a lot of the mega cab trucks. Guys will convert them to long bed, but basically extend it right above the axle. This whole frame cap joins the two stock frame channels together, and then the front leaf perches are custom, so I had to build these out to hang the leaf springs. They originally were all the way up here, so essentially what I did was just the shackle hanger and everything goes back with the frame extension, and then you have to build a custom front frame or front leaf hanger and reattach the bump stops. I raised up the bump stops a little bit, get a little bit more up travel in the back so it's not beating my teeth out, and had to build custom shock mounts, which I also raised up the shock mounts just a tad, so I could run a little bit of longer stroke shock. So, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. Frame extension, this is just a wear plate for the bed to rub on, and then front spring hangers, and that's all it takes. So essentially this setup here wasn't the actual Dodge long bed wheelbase. What I did is ended up using the Ford long bed wheelbase. So I took the cab to axle and I centered out the tires and the wheel well of the bed. So this frame extension isn't exactly what it would be. I can't just put a long bed off of a Dodge onto this chassis because the axle will not be centered in the wheel wells. I have no idea what I'm doing here with the prep work, but the guy with the mustache over here, Todd, he's guiding me along, telling me I did a really shitty job up to this point. What I think we're doing, I'm fading out the bed liner here so he could cut in the paint, wrap around, and then we'll re-bed line the face of the bed. So that's what I'm working on right now. That's why I'm so filthy. Basically this line here, you're not gonna see it, especially underneath the thick bed liner. The edge was all choppy because of the bed liner texture, and he wanted a nice paint line. So what we'll end up doing is painting around the corner, and then I'll put knife tape down, spray the bed liner, and then I'll have a nice clean cut on the bed liner so you don't see a choppy paint line essentially. Been prepping the tops of these. These were all tore up. They had aluminum diamond plate on them before, which looked pretty nice in my opinion. It's a little old school J.C. Whitney style accessory, but we yanked these off, so I'm getting the tops of these prepped, continuing on sanding, stripping bed liner, whole bunch of work that I absolutely hate doing, to be honest with you. This sucks. This is why I don't do this for a living. He thinks it's gonna come out nice. Knows what he's doing, I think. So I was trying to pay this guy to do this job here. Todd said, no, I need you to do work for me. So what we're ended up doing is I'm trading metal work essentially for paint work. So over here, he has a C10 project. It's actually pretty rad. Todd knows more about the project than I do. So I'm gonna have him go through and just kind of point out where he wants to go with this thing and what he's doing with it.
It's a 1966 Chevy C10 frame. I tore this truck apart like 15 years ago. That's how quickly things move when it comes to working on your own projects. Porter-built drop member in the front. Several generations old at this point, I'm sure, but still good. I had the frame all media blasted, built by Brooks, rear half, dude out of Arizona that does some killer work. I've got a Porter-built frame stiffener. I decided to go that route rather than boxing the frame. Just, it looks nicer. So that should be here. Aaron's gonna hook all that up. And then we're gonna raise the bed floor up to this plane. So shallow bed, hinged bed floor to tank, compressor, all that will be under the bed.
Factory
Super clean.
fuel tank in this, or I mean, what is?
No, aftermarket. We'll go aluminum. Yeah.
Where are you planning on putting that?
It'll sit right in the back.
In the back, and then air tanks.
Yep, air tanks will probably be somewhere up in here
Okay.
where we're getting all this real estate.
Yeah, oh yeah, because we're gonna have everything above the frame.
Yeah.
With the bed floor being that high. Okay.
Yeah, it's got a full built by Brooks 3-link, another cross member that has to land in here for all that.
What's the engine and trans for this?
6.0 LS and a 4L80E.
Nice.
Leaving the body rough because I don't know how to paint.
Oh, that's what you do for a living.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I just don't have time. It'd be on 22-inch transit wheels, and it will lay frame.
Nice. Yeah.
Short bed, big back window, fleet side, all the good stuff.
So being a paint guy, he likes like patina and old body and stuff. Can't tell from the garage. There's a lot of rust in here.
Being a paint and body guy, I did what I knew how to do, and this was originally a small back window truck. I big back window converted it. Second one of these I've done, but...
Where's the line at on that though, out of curiosity? So where'd you cut in the back window?
Just cut all this out.
Okay.
And then I put all the inner in.
Okay.
This one was actually, they didn't drill the spot welds like you should have.
Right.
They cut it straight, so I had to weld that entire seam, but I've already painted and blended that. You can't tell that it's been converted other than I had to panel bond that upper seam because I obviously couldn't get in there to weld it.
No, it's just crazy because it looks like it's all...
If you look at the back of the crew cab, you can see like the impression for the big windows, factory stamped in there. Yeah,
Okay.
It's just a stupid little window in
So
there.
this is still the original patina that was on the cab?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
the only thing you can tell is these welds here that are rusting where if
Okay, on the spot
everything else
welds.
has been body worked and painted in.
So do you clear coat this? What do you do?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with like guys that will keep patina and they like protect them. But like you like do like a satin clear, or how does that work?
I like the look of the rust when they're shiny, but I don't want the shiny look. And you can get wipe on. I'll obviously spray it on because I can do that way faster and it's going to be a better job in the end. My roof's looking a little crispy, so I might actually take the roof panel out of that other cab that I have because I collect parts, and I might put that in and then redo the seam seal just in a...
So I'm gonna get back sanding on Cherry Poppins here, but here in a couple weeks, we're gonna be putting out an episode for Brooks Auto Pharmacy, and it's gonna be based around everything that Todd's doing around here, which is the first project is gonna be the C10. So yeah, tune in a couple weeks, Brooks Auto Pharmacy here on YouTube, and check this thing out.
takes a trained eye to even see the difference, but lots of body work done.
This was a customer's truck, but the bed was relatively new. Like, you could tell it wasn't on the truck for that long at all, and I think they just got in a pretty crappy accident. Yeah, it was put out to the sticks because, I mean, hindsight, I probably should have just bought a damn bed. As easy, as simple as I thought it was gonna be, it wasn't.
Oh.
Please be flatter. What I'm working with is a jack, a 2x4, and a chain, and conveniently it's already set up outside for this process.
What's the difference between a press and a press brake?
A press brake has dies and tooling to form metal. Yep, I went corner to corner that way. And then this comes up. And then I actually just kind of, I took one of the links and just had the link straddle that corner.
Oh, that stays?
Yep, that stays.
I'm not used to this new tool in the shop.
There we go. Okay, go for it.
Come on. It's definitely bowing it.
Unless I relieve tacks, but see how it popped in the center?
A little canned.
Do you think we got it?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
That's
close
the
enough.
whole reveal, yeah.
That's money.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not expecting
it's actually perfect.
Pretty close.
It really is.
You gotta think the whole wall of this bed was smashed in, and then this is replaced, and then had to get grafted into this part of the pillar and stuff. So I'd say that did it. So now the door's gonna come off. Todd's gonna get all this prepped out and prime the door and the bed and the roof, and then he'll move on to the sides of the truck after he does the roof. I guess so he doesn't like so tall, he doesn't have to like lean into it. He could just separate the job up, supposedly. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know how I'm gonna get up there. I don't have the right stuff here at home. I'm just gonna get on Cole's shoulders.
Yeah. Todd's a little meticulous, so he's taking a little extra time getting that body straight. So while he's doing that, I was like, I'm gonna give him all the time he needs, but I'm gonna pull out the front axle. Although I didn't want to spend all the money right now, I don't know how I'm ever gonna financially recover from this. Not the truss, the free spin hubs that we'll be doing next. I'll tell you about that here in a second. Yeah, I figured it was a good time. Let's get the front axle out. The truck doesn't need to move for the rest of the body work that he's doing and paint work. So I pulled the front axle, I got it down to the shop, and I'm gonna be doing a front end truss on this axle. So on the Dodge 2500, 3500s, a lot of guys will run a Carly front truss or even a Thurin tube front truss. I kind of looked around a little bit. I aesthetically liked the Arctic truss a little bit better than those two. Guys will argue left and right about the internal bracing of a Carly truss and everything else. I know from trussing how many ever housings over the years that the strength of the truss doesn't come from internal webbing. It comes from essentially the external plates and how big the truss is. And even that triple press brake design here adds a ton of vertical strength structure. And that's how the front end housing is going to be loaded from the big tires, big coil springs, big shocks. I opted to use the Arctic truss. It was a lot more affordable, and I think it's gonna be a lot easier to work with. I've installed all three, never had an issue with either one. I don't think I'll have well, I've installed Carly and Thurin. This is my first Arctic. I never had an issue with either of those. I don't think we'll have an issue with the Arctic truss at all. It's a pretty good product. What I have to start out with now is basically getting the housing up here on the table, getting it cleaned off, seeing where the truss is gonna land, and clearancing whatever needs to be clearanced. Basically, I'm just gonna start by just putting the plates up where I think they should go. I think it fits pretty damn nice, actually. Look at that, that's a nice reveal. I have to do a little bit up in here, but impressive. Start here. Which one is this? Which piece of the puzzle? I don't know. Yep, it's got the little chingadera right there. Hooks in. So, it's looking like this bracket has to, or not this bracket, this cross piece, which is all bent to crap anyways. This has got to come off for this to sit down. But I think this is going to sit pretty damn nice too. Once we get rid of that, and I'll lock in on there. This is going to be it really doesn't get much better than that. All I have to do is just get that to sit down, smidgen. Just grind underneath wherever it's touching, but right here, like when you're forming material, you can only get so close because you have distortion in the bins. So like back here, this is right on a bin line, and that tab right there is probably distorted a little bit. So I'll just sand it off on the backside to where it just sits right down, this clips right in. I'm gonna TIG weld all that cast so it comes out nice and clean. You see a lot of these Dodge housings with just booger cheese welds all the way across them. No offense to anybody, it's just, yikes, looks like crap. So I think I'm gonna TIG that out. What else we got? We got this one here, which isn't gonna sit down because of that plate again. But it looks like that's gonna clip in there nicely. Most important thing though with the truss on these Dodge AAM axles is the C's where your ball joints are located. So this, I believe, don't hold me to this, I have to actually check out the fitment on this. This is a freaking puzzle, man. How did they do this? Hold on, get on the internet real quick. Let's see how these guys came up with the C gussets. So that's gonna hug there. I think this backs right up on in this little Canuck. I might have to do a little more grinding. That sucker's gonna fit in there. This one's gonna come across, do the same thing on the back side. That's gonna support the C, which typically likes to bend in the axle tube out here, and it'll bring that structure into where the coil bucket is and then back in. These might take a little bit to fit up, a lot more than this. I'll jam right through that, but the C's are definitely gonna take a minute to get those all cleaned up and fit up. All looks pretty easy. It's gonna be worth it. So I'm gonna start by getting everything cleaned up and clearance off here, prep the housing, basically just sand everything, get it bare metal, get it nice and clean, especially, it doesn't really matter if I'm MIGing or TIGging it, but especially since I am TIG welding a lot of this, it has to be spotless. And cast is a pain in the butt to work with sometimes. That's first step. Clean up everything, prep the plates, get even the laser cut edges, knock off all the heat marks off of those, DA sand everything, so I have a fresh clean slate. And then we'll start welding her on. I might speed things up a little bit that I know are gonna be fine. I'll take the risk as opposed to taking the risk with a customer's truck or a shop truck or something like that. Little chunky. Put a new ceramic. My first time trying one of the Sate ones. We've been running with the Harbor Freight ceramics. This thing's actually been kicking ass. So instead of a flat disc or even a black grinding stone, which is a huge no-no, we use ceramic discs for bulk material removal. This thing works like 300 times as fast as a flat disc will and lasts way the hell longer. So anybody doing metal work where you have to do a lot of weld grinding and cleanup, bulk cleanup, use the ceramic. Don't deal with flat disc. Don't spend a whole bunch of money on nice flat discs and then burn right through them right away. Use these to start. It'll change your life. Everybody will argue that too until they try one and they're like, I don't know why I haven't been doing this for the last 20 years that I've been doing this trade or something, you know?
Walter got himself a nice new haircut. That is not a new dog. We've got the tops of the surface body ready to go for primer. Top's just finishing up some edges. This extended frame Dodge is about to get primered. Sounds like a good Sunday. Huh, Walt? Let's get priming. Alright, the truck is primered and the top of the truck has been painted at this point. We're back over at Todd's. I'm coming out here to do a video, buddy. Where are you coming? Walt and Atlas are playing. I think Walt's still trying to figure out what the hell he is.
All right, the epoxy primer's down. It's all prepped out, 320, ready for epoxy sealer. And then we will do 2, maybe 3 coats of the red. It actually covers really well. So we did 3 on the roof, so I'll probably just stick to doing 3 on everything. Just some nice PPG, high performance clear. Yeah, it's gonna be a neat truck for sure. I know he's excited to see it and bummed that he wasn't around today to come check it out. Nice and tight. And I still gotta mask the undersides of these. We're gonna set them up on the stands and shoot them with the bed. I've got the door handles for the truck all primed. We're smoothing and paint matching them. So that's gonna look sharp. Talked Aaron into shaving the antenna on the Fender, so nice and clean. He won't be able to listen to his AM radio, but he'll get over it. I'll get you one in just a second. Let me just finish up here and I'll get out of the bed and I'll go get you one.
I think I finished one derby in my life.
If you hold it like that, that goes forward. And then if you push that, it goes backwards. And then this is how you turn.
Todd's got, what would you say, Todd, a collection of his RC cars?
Rather large one.
I would say more money than I have in my bank account. He has invested in RCs.
Terrible investment, but they're never not fun.
What's that stuff?
Just a waterborne cleaner. Gonna spray this epoxy sealer on there, let it sit, flash for 10 minutes, and then go to the red base coat.
On the next episode of this, obviously the exterior is done. I'm gonna finish up the tire gate. I'm also gonna be installing the Edge CTS3, the Juice with Attitude. That's gonna go in here. I'm gonna start working on some interior stuff. Now that it looks good everywhere else, now I'm starting to notice all the little imperfections of a 20-year-old truck with 300,000+ miles on the chassis.
All right, guys, that was a heck of an episode, and this is a heck of a truck. When Aaron first started this truck, we weren't filming it until about halfway through, and we started to see how cool it was going to be, so we started filming it for you guys. We don't normally cover personal projects on the channel, but since Aaron is the man, myth, and the legend here at Basin Nation, we thought we'd cover his personal rig here. Let us know in the comments below if you like this sort of thing. We'll do more of it. This is an 05 Dodge build, kind of out of our wheelhouse. We're usually building newer trucks, but I would honestly, personally, like to get back to something like this. And just a reminder, guys, we just got this merch in. Check it out. And just a reminder that 20% of the purchase goes to local trade schools. We want to get this industry pumping with a new, young, invigorated workforce. So help us do that. Protect the trades. Go grab yourself some merch.